Hey there, STEM enthusiasts! Welcome back to Cameron's Lab Dive In, the go-to podcast for STEM students, crafted with passion by one of your own. I'm Cameron, your enthusiastic and ever-curious host. Buckle up for today's insightful episode. Ready to dive in? AI has been growing so quickly lately. There's a lot to be enjoyed with it, such as help with content creation, virtual assistants like Siri and Alexa, self-driving cars like the Tesla. But, of course, there is a negative side that comes with all this innovation. One of the most discussed is the idea that AI is going to take all our jobs. But a perspective I hadn't considered was, could AI be our boss? Full disclosure, I was introduced to the topic at the Science Gallery's Friday Late's Defying the Code during a fascinating panel talk. I will list the panelists' names in the episode description if you're interested, but they really got me thinking. What would it be like to have AI as a boss? First, let's take it back a bit and start off with, what even is a boss? I'm sure everyone has their own image of one. A quick Google search says that a boss is someone who is in charge of a worker, group, or organization. They can exercise authority over their subordinates. But could we feel comfortable giving an AI such control? Are we doing it already? I personally think we are, at least in a small way. With all these AI tools, we've begun to trust the information that they give us. Whether it's to, tell us the weather, to ask it questions, or to sift through literature and give us a summary. We're slowly building trust in these systems. And the only real question I have is, where does it end? How much are we willing to trust an algorithm? After listening to Dr. Joy Buolamwini, I'm becoming more aware and interested in what kind of data companies may be training these models with, and the ethics behind it all. Sorry, kind of going off on a tangent. Back to AI being our boss. So, the panelists mentioned that our managers today currently use systems to monitor our productivity. They likely have access to data like how often we log into Teams, when we submit things, how often we take a break. That's a lot of data. I don't know if you guys remember that video that was going around of people that were getting little, like servo motors to control their mouse to get it to move back and forth so that their boss wouldn't be able to tell that they're online or not. So, maybe we could use those. Sorry, I'm going off on a tangent. Back to AI being our boss. The panelists mentioned that our managers today currently use systems to monitor our productivity. They likely have access to data like how often we log into Teams, when we submit things, how often we go on a break. And that's a lot of data. And as you know, algorithms do their best work when trained on large amounts of data. And if bosses can offer us promotions based on these statistics, who's to say that an AI can't do a better job in real time? Meaning that you could get promoted faster. One of the speakers, Shyam Krishna, I believe, said that if there's a human element to the job, it's harder to replace it. But if not, if it's data-driven, it can be more easily replaced. That's a pretty scary thought. And I'm sure if you're doing a data-driven job and listening, you might have gotten a little shiver of worry. The best advice I can offer as a student is to get started learning how to use these AI-driven tools. Learn how they work and how you can use them to your advantage. I remember that all this data processing really needs huge computers with really big memory. So hopefully we're a long way off from these kind of things, at least for a little while. The next topic was company structure. The panel mentioned that companies may be humans at the top, for example, CEOs and such, algorithms in the middle, doing the menial data-driven tasks, and then humans at the bottom. Again, I started thinking. So, for example, the way that companies use AI chatbots for their customer service. Everyone ends up asking for an actual agent anyway, because those things are so frustrating. But it's not hard to imagine that customer-facing roles like that should be kept as they are. The ability to speak with someone who can empathize with you, Nobody wants to lose that. But what would happen when an AI with EQ, which is emotional intelligence, becomes more commonplace? Will that be relevant anymore? Will we need to talk to a person? Can we even tell? A real-life example of AI being a boss has already started in Poland. Shocking, I know. The first one's name is Mika. She is it is the world's first AI CEO, according to the Economic Times. It's the CEO of a Polish drinks company called Dictator. This is in collaboration with Hanson Robotics, a Hong Kong-based company that is best known for its human-like robots, which are being used in industries such as healthcare, entertainment, and the service industry. You may remember Sophia. It was actually the first humanoid robot that I personally remember studying in class. Yep, that's the same company. So Mika, in a company video, said that with advanced artificial intelligence and machine learning algorithms, I can swiftly and accurately make data-driven decisions. Mika also said that it lacks personal bias, which allows us to make strategic decisions that are in the organization's best interests. Hanson Robotics CEO remarked on the importance of humanizing artificial intelligence. So again, we're going back to this EQ, emotional intelligence. What happens when we start incorporating that into our AI? In an interview with Fox Business, he is quoted to feel very strongly that we need to teach AI to care about people, for AI to be really safe, to be really, really good. He thinks that humanizing it is a very important direction. Wow. As expected, there are mixed reviews about Mika. Some people said that they're willing to be nice to all things, that they'll treat Mika with compassion, while others argue that robots don't need respect, and that they'll never work for a robot like Mika. What do you think? What would you think if you had to work under Mika? Be sure to let me know in the comments or even via PM. I'd be really happy to hear from you. Which actually brings me to the next interesting part of the panel. Can an AI boss be manipulated? It reminds me of a funny story that my mom told me about myself when I was little. Not that I was trying to manipulate her in the situation. I was like, 2, 3? So she didn't want me eating any chips because I was just a toddler. So as soon as she went outside, I asked my aunt if I could have some. Of course, they said no, because my mom didn't want me to have any chips at the time. And I quickly said, "Mommy, outside." Like, she can't see me. It's fine. But you can imagine that people will try to find loopholes in their boss's algorithm in the same way. Maybe find ways to work from home more often, get extra vacation days, another nice benefit, maybe a little salary bump. I don't know. A really good quote from the panel is, could it be like a little pet for us? Ideally, with an AI boss, we'll be able to do less work and be more active. Do more of what interests us, like personal projects, instead of menial tasks. An ideal AI boss would be able to assist you in your personal growth for those projects. However, would it be able to question us and empathize with us like a human boss can? I can't believe I'm saying a human boss like it isn't a given. Of course, it will be able to judge your work with an unbiased statistical level, but what if it asks you to redo a task 100 times because you didn't match its internal idea of the project's outcome? How could you convince it that your way is best if it has a set code of what's determined by what success is determined by your organization? What if you need a sick day and you don't have a reason that matches what it has in its code? These are all things to consider. So, after all that, I have to ask, will AI take all of our jobs? At the event, an audience member asked if the growth of AI will lead to something similar to the Industrial Revolution. All this innovation and change will, of course, and unfortunately, lead to some people losing their jobs. But it will also force people to upskill in order to stay relevant, as with the rise of any technology, I could say. The same way that today, not knowing how to use a computer or a cell phone would put you at a serious disadvantage. But I also believe that this growth will lead to more jobs in new sectors. Which sectors? I don't really know. But what I can say is that the best thing to do is get involved and stay informed. I'll be doing more podcast episodes around this topic, so stay tuned to hear more of my thoughts about it. Thank you for listening. Hi again, awesome listener. That wraps up another deep dive of Cameron's Lab Dive In. Before you dive back into your day, see what I did there? Take a second to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Want a behind-the-scenes look? Bonus content? Or just some good old STEM fun? Follow me on my socials, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Cameron's Lab. And remember, every episode is a new adventure, and we've got some thrilling dives lined up for you. Don't miss out! Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring.